I was falling in love with this man for all who he was, and I thought he was falling in love with me for all who I am. I was sitting in the speech therapist office, and as I looked around, it occurred to me I was the only child in this room. While I found that kind of funny, this is where we should go ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. I reminded myself why I was there. It was in the name of love. I was so in love with this man, and I wanted to do everything to make myself better. So let me take a step back, and let's talk about this man. For the purpose of this story, we'll call him Joey. And Joey was someone I had known for many years. We met in college. I didn't know he was gay, but we ran in similar circles, had similar friends, and he certainly was a good friend. 10 years later, we had grown apart, but about 10 years later, when I moved to Philly in 2020, a very calm time for all of us, he was the first person who found me, and he quickly took me under his wing and really helped me understand Philly and really helped me living through COVID. And what quickly became these cute outside hangouts became so much more very fast. I was falling in love with this man for all who he was, and I thought he was falling in love with me for all who I am. More than a year goes by. Things are good. Things are hot. And we're at his kind of small apartment, and we're sitting on the couch celebrating, and he looks at me and invites me soon to this party. I was so excited about this party because up to this point, he had met my friends and my family, but I had not met his friends or his family. But then he looks at me and goes, "But is it okay that I tell them that you stutter so things aren't weird?" Oh boy. I quickly jumped off that couch, and in that moment, it was like a thought bubble appeared above my head. Over that past year, there were times where he would finish my sentences or say, "Hey, slow down." And you don't do that to anyone, especially a person who stutters. He also had no idea that I put myself back in therapy to see a speech professional because of him. And things I thought were good, but in that moment, I realized I deserved better, and so thank you. And so I knew if I ended things that night, it was gonna hurt, but it was the best thing for me to do. So I looked at that man in his eyes, and I said, "You know what? You're the one who makes things weird. Your friends are not really your friends if they would find this weird, and you don't deserve me." So I ran out of his, as I mentioned, small, not clean, dirty apartment, back to my bigger, more beautiful apartment. And I fell into my bed and just started sobbing. Because on one hand, I was really sad because there was times I pictured wedding bells with this man. But then there was part of me who felt things are gonna be okay, maybe. Later that night, he texts me, and it's things like, "I'm sorry you felt that way." I didn't say he was a nice person. "I'm sorry you overreacted. I'm sorry how you felt." I didn't respond in nice ways. But later that night, as I'm processing all of this, one of my co-workers, who I happened to be his boss at the time, called me just to talk about something work. And I tried to pull it together, because I am a professional, and all I could do is cry and cry. But that reminded me of the power of your friends to get through really hard times. So, Joey had never known that I was in therapy, and I don't think he should have. But this story taught me the power of coming out twice. During World Pride, especially on the stage, I honor my coming out as a queer person, especially in a small town, was actually relatively easy. My father's response was, "Oh, cool." Love my dad. And my grandmother knew I was gay before I did. It also reminded me that Joey, like several people in the queer community, want people to accept him for being queer, which is something that makes him beautiful, but he could not accept me for my disability, which is also something that makes me pretty damn beautiful. But I want to go back to this whole idea of coming out twice. It has been powerful in both professional and personal situations when I acknowledge I'm queer and I acknowledge I have a disability. And honestly, acknowledging that second part, that's what was hard. And it took years of therapy and my great friends for me to thrive. So I don't know that coming out twice to Joey would have changed anything. I don't know that I care. But I can say here, loud and proud tonight, my name is Charles Black, and I'm a queer person who stutters. Thank you.